Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hurdy Burke Internet Broadcast Network, and we are on for our 7th episode or podcast on the Power Hour broadcast with Danielle Smith. As a matter of fact, if you go over to Facebook, there's a group, Power Hour Broadcast, Danielle Smith, and we cover growth and business growth, and we're going to talk about that everybody communicates, few connect, and we're going to continue that with our 7th podcast. So Danny is also a John Maxwell certified coach and going to be telling us some great things tonight. So Danny, take it away.
Hey, Hurdy.
Yes, sir.
I love this book in a lot of ways. Hurdy, did you know, if you look in the back of the book, did you know that I'm mentioned in there as a contributor?
You know what? I did.
Oh, you did know that? Okay. Yeah.
There's not very many people get mentioned in a book.
A couple of hundred of us communicated through a blog that John did when he was writing this book. John gets a lot of information on every book and tests his thoughts. But he did it on a blog, first time he'd ever done anything like that, and it was every week for I think it was 12 weeks. Is that how many chapters we got here? Every week for 10 weeks, that he would post the chapter, ask questions, and then revise the chapter. And I've actually got them all printed off over here in a folder somewhere. What they originally looked like, and he made some pretty good changes in some of this based upon some input from people. He went back and did some more study in some of these areas. Hurdy, so far we've been talking about, in the previous 3 weeks on this book, we have talked about how connecting increases your influence in every situation. Connecting is about others. Connecting goes beyond words. Now, again, everyone communicates, few connect. So if you're going to not just communicate, it's about influencing, it's about others, it's about going beyond words to really connect. Tonight, we're going to camp out for at least a little bit, and connecting always requires energy. The book is divided into 2 sections. There's 5 chapters in each section. The first is about the principles, and the second is about practices. Connecting principles, part 2, connecting practices. So
the hard part.
The hard part. Actually, I said, we've only had 2 sessions. I got ahead of myself here, looking at my dates and my notes here. We're actually going to talk about connecting goes beyond words. Some stats. What we say accounts for only 7% of what is believed.
That's hard to believe.
It really is. The way we say it accounts for 38%. And this is the big one. What others see accounts for 55%. What others see, this is a great example, and he talks about it in the book of we see things. If you say something, as you tell something about your business, you stand up in a networking group, you mention that you have your Business Warriors group, you work with people, social media, you do YouTube, you have the video 6-pack. People try to equate that with pictures. We all do. Some people say, well, I'm not visual. We're all visual. I have a guy that worked for me that was CPA. This guy, David had, if there was a 4th degree black belt in Excel spreadsheets, this guy had it. He could do amazing things with Excel spreadsheets, and Excel spreadsheets on different pages, and do these vertical lookup things just incredible. I asked him, where'd you learn all this? Now, understand, David had told me for years that he was not visual. It was all about numbers. It was all about what he he had to have it in front of him. He wasn't visual. I said, how'd you learn this, David? "What classes have you taken?" He said, "I've never taken a class. I can just see it." I started laughing. He said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, you've always told me you weren't visual. And you just proved yourself wrong. And there are three components to communication: thought, emotion, and action. Three components to communication: thought, something we know; emotion, something we feel; and action, something we do. Now, step outside the book for a second. I know that we all struggle with learning new things. The older we get, the more logical we become, and the less creative we become. Literally, scientists can hook up wires to your head, and they know that the older you are, the more logical, the part of your brain that thinks logically, it's more active than the part of your brain that thinks creatively. It's also why the older we get, the more we tend to be set in our ways. Mm-hmm. But I also know, and you and I have talked about this a lot, that you can change that. It's called neuroplasticity. And there's been a lot of study in that over the last few years. Because one of our challenges with marketing, with communicating, with connecting, with sales, is that we have an image of ourselves. We have an image of maybe where we should be right now. Maxwell Maltz's book, Psycho-Cybernetics, he said that we cannot long outperform our self-image. So we have to change that self-image. To change that self-image, we got to change the way we think. Yeah. So back to John, the three components of communication: thought, emotion, and action. John says he believes there are three components, that those three components are essential to connect as well. You fail to include one of the three, there will be a disconnection from people and a breakdown in communication. So, and there's plenty of footnotes in the book for anybody who wants to go look in the book, but the three components of communication: thought, emotion, and action. And then John claims, and this is his own beliefs, I agree with him, that these three components are essential to connecting as well, not just communicating, but connecting with people. And that's one-on-one, that's in an audience, that is after you've met somebody, reconnecting back with them. And so he's got here that if I try to communicate something I know but do not feel, my communication is compassionate. I'm just reading off of John's, off of my notes from his book here. If I try to communicate something I know but do not do, my communication is theoretical. That goes to, I ask somebody a question, I want to know from their experience, not their opinion. I ask somebody a question and well, my opinion. I said, wait, do you not? I'm not interested in opinion. There's a difference in opinion and experience. It's kind of like a trainer, an educator doesn't have to. I know somebody that is in the marketing department of one of the top 20 universities in the United States. She's in the marketing department, graduate school. She's a tenured professor, but yet she's never held a job as a marketer. Huh. So for the most part, that's theoretical. Now, yes, she's written books about it. Some people have taken what she has taught and gone out and tested it. So maybe that's a little bit beyond theory. But back to John, something I know, but if I communicate something I know but do not do, my communication is theoretical. If I communicate something I feel but do not know, my communication is theoretical. If I communicate something I feel but do not do, my communication is hypocritical. Something I do but do not know, my communication is presumptuous. If I communicate something I do but do not feel, my communication is mechanical. I know I got kind of lost in all that too, and I got the words right here in front of me. But we have to have all three components to connect with somebody.
Yeah, so your word tracks, Danny, like I know but do not do. If you're communicating with somebody, words like my experience, what I have found when I've worked with others, takes it out of the theoretical and into actual communication.
Yes, it does.
And that's important.
Okay, just say that again.
All right, so my experience, how I've helped others through this, would be not theoretical. That would be the right word track for experience and not being theoretical, as opposed to saying, here's my opinion or here's my thoughts on the matter. It's applicable if you can say my experience. And here's what's happening before when I've helped somebody do this, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Very good.
I think word tracks on these mean a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So I want to say, just wanted to pipe in.
I'm confident. I'll get that from you later. Write that down. Be sure you know what you said.
I'll write it down right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So John says to connect with people visually. Of course, we're talking about John Maxwell, the author of the book here, if anybody's curious who John is. To connect with people visually, expand your range of expression, move with a sense of purpose, maintain an open posture.
Nothing like the truth.
That maintain an open posture. I've gone to a couple of those classes where people say that, if you put your hands behind you, subconsciously people believe that you're hiding something. If you put your hands together in front of you, they think you're trying to protect yourself for some reason. If I cross my arms, it's, I guess, indifference. So maybe we think too much.
Or maybe that's somewhat of a lead-in, but that may not always be the truth, right? Maybe that's some sort of hint, but maybe that's not the total truth. But it is something to look at.
Yeah. I've been really watching myself around people lately and paying attention to my body language, thinking about this connection, thinking about what message I'm giving. I tend to lean back in meetings and just want to get comfortable. But I've been leaning forward more lately, had my notebook out, writing notes down of what people are saying.
Not looking at your phone.
Not looking at my phone. Yep. To jump down here through a few things, is what John says, that people may hear your words, but they feel your attitude.
Ooh.
People will not always remember what you said. They will not always remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Wow.
So a key concept is the more you do to go beyond words, the greater the chance you will connect with people.
Yeah, because if you go back up to the very first thing, what does it say? It says what we say accounts for only 7% of what is believed. Wow. So an attitude.
Yep.
Amazing.
So a question John asked here. John asked some great questions.
John Sharp.
What visual technique do I need to improve to better connect with people? I think I knew what was coming on this lesson over the last week. I've more than normal. I've been paying attention to more of this stuff. So Hardy, what visual technique do you need to improve?
I always, when I'm listening to a speaker or in a group setting, I would be taking notes. In a one-to-one, I'd make good eye contact, and I would nod and agree and reaffirm what is being said. I try not to fold my arms, although with my lower back sometimes hurting, that's a common thing to do because it's not done to look closed, but I've done it to support myself. So I just try to make sure I'm paying attention. Maybe say back what was said, repeat something back to make the point, ask personal questions. I use a technique called FORM. Family, occupation, recreation, money management. Keep that in my mind so that I have open-ended questions to engage. That's what I do.
Yeah, and in the coming weeks, we're going to be going through this in part as a follow-through to some classes that I've got coming up.
You got that. You've got little marketing wasting handshakes, right?
Yeah, I've got two realtor classes this week on the 26th and 27th. Others are invited, so you don't have to be a realtor. And so anyway, I'm sitting here. Sorry, I'm making some notes about something I just thought about. But in conjunction with this, expand your range of expression. He says, move with a sense of purpose. Maintain an open posture. We jump while I go down to that. Maintain an open posture. Expand your range of expression.
Wow. It's pretty black and white. Hey, Danny, I think if everybody got a 3x5 card out and wrote, the more you go beyond words, the greater the chance you will connect with people. I'm going to write that down and put that on a card, and I'm going to start carrying that with me because that is an amazing statement.
Huh.
I stump you or what?
Yeah, that is. No,
it's just hard to
about
believe.
Some stuff here. Think about this. Here's a statement in the book. He's quoted a guy named Henry Ward Beecher who asserted, there are persons so radiant, so genial, so kind, so pleasure-bearing that you instinctively feel good in their presence. You instinctively feel good in their presence that they do you good. Whose coming into a room is like bringing a lamp. I know now what I was getting hung up on. Hold on a second, going back to something in one of the earlier. This last week. Connecting questions. People want to know, do you care for me? Can you help me? Can I trust you?
Wow. Yep.
That's what people want to know.
That's all they want. That's all they care about. That's right.
But we didn't talk about the question for the end of chapter 2. He says, what can I do to increase my value? Now, this is interesting. Of others. To increase my value of others. He didn't say to others. My value of others. That's that difference we've talked about, how that book Give and Take, and the difference between being selfish versus selfless, and that new word, otherish. If I'm trying to increase my value to others, that's different than of others. I'll give us something to contemplate and pick back up.
While you're thinking about that, can we throw in my 2 cents on something here?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, if we learn to really be ourselves and not always try to be something we're not, I think we would also do a better job of fulfilling a better attitude in what people see in us, right? People are always trying to impress, or always trying to look, their image is important. But what's most important, according to this, is if you show care and trust and help, right? And that means being yourself. I just think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working around somebody right now. I see just every once in a while, and I see them. Let me just say this. It's important that I believe this person to be very, very genuine. And at the same time, this person is trying to show compassion. And I don't think, and I speak from experience right here, I don't think this person is of the type person that is naturally real passionate about a lot of stuff. This person's more firm. For instance, that Fascinate survey, the Sally Hogshead, and it says that the one thing I don't need to try to fake is passion. If I've got it, express it. If I'm excited about something, express it. But don't just try to show passion, because it will come across as disingenuine. By the way, anybody that's on the call, listen to this call later, the book, you can go online, you can find it. Reach out to me, and I'll see if I can find there's a free version of it. Actually, somebody told me recently that you get a free version online just by going online and looking it up. But it's look up Sally Hogshead, and that's Hogshead. That's her real name, Hogshead. She's a nationally acclaimed. Actually, she's now in the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame. She doesn't look like, but in her 40s, and does some incredible work around. Here's what she says. She says we all fascinate in our own way. We just got to figure out what that fascination is and stick to it. And you do this survey. The survey's free. The assessment's free with a basic little report. Then I think you spend either $20 or $30 for the full report. It's worth the $20 or $30. It's worth a lot more than that. And
Danny, can you post that URL on the Power Hour group? Would you mind doing that later? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm making myself a note to do that.
Because she's awesome. I have been through that assessment, and I know exactly what my statements have come from that.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And it's helped me tremendously for over the last 2 to 3 years. And I'm admitted a little bit of an assessment junkie, and have had to get away from them. But that right there is it's powerful. And how do you fascinate? We're all fascinated. But let me bring it back home to this, and we'll wrap up with this. If we're connecting with people, they're finding something that they really like about us, that even to the point that maybe it sounds like, being pompous, but that we're fascinating. And she says that we're all fascinating in our own way. And when we figure out what it is that we're fascinating, what's fascinating others about us, and stick with that, everything else becomes easy. Branding and marketing it becomes easy, and which by the way. I think that's two of the big subjects in your Business Warriors next month. So, so how do we fascinate? Anyway, yes, I will post that up there.
Thank you.
And if we can if we figure out how we fascinate people, we're going to start connecting with people. And that statement from chapter 2, highly recommend this book, everybody. It is a mainstay. Connecting questions. Do you care for me? Can you help me? Can I trust you? What John says here in the book is that when you meet somebody, they are asking that question. When you're trying to sell them something, what it all boils down to, they're asking that question, right? Those three questions right there. Purdy?
Yes, sir. Good job.
That's a wrap.
Okay.
We will pick this back up next Monday. I will see if there's probably not a change in format quite with that because anyway, I am going to be speaking more into from the guerrilla marketing standpoint, connecting this back to the Stop Wasting Handshakes program a little bit. We'll pick that up with a little more intensity in the coming weeks as we start having some people join us coming out of those workshops. All right? That'll
be great. Danny, thank you. That was awesome. Great material. Right. Really enjoyed that tonight. Thanks for reminding us.
Okay. Thanks for those on live and those listening to the recording. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Have a good evening. Bye.
All right. See you. Bye.